we want to welcome South Korea. We have with us Jeong-hyun. He will be here with us now, and we are going to try to share his presentation. See where it's at. It's a very what we'll do is if you have it,
I'll just run through the gist of what he's sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could share the presentation. Greetings on behalf of respected Jung sir. He has in fact touched upon a very critical area of learning in the present 21st century, of accumulating skills, students being able to hone skills which would help them in the future. And he's talked about 21st century skills, which is in fact very, very imperative, because we do not know tomorrow what kind of professions will still exist. He's talked about in his presentation a few things that he's done with his own students, where he himself does not have the skills to help the students, but he's employed something, as I think everyone knows, peer teaching, that is getting the students themselves to help one another. So he's talked about how involving students, especially from the socially, financially weak segments in a country, predominantly rural areas where education is not up to a standard where they can achieve success through, passing certifications, or they're even interested in school because they lack the resources. So he's talked about engaging such students post-school just to develop their skills further. In fact, it's very interesting to understand what he's tried to do. He's tried to teach students computer skills where, in fact, he is not actually teaching the students. So what he has come up with is, using students, engaging students to educate their peers. Now, this works very well because the learning comes at a level where they're able to understand each other. And at times I feel when, as an educator, we are trying to share the knowledge, it becomes slightly over the top for them. So he's employed this strategy where, after work hours, he has asked students to come and he's taken them to a lab where, again, he's given the onus or the responsibility to the students. So in fact, he's used the strategy of making them responsible for the segment that they take up. And he's got students to volunteer to teach other students. And in this way, he's been able to kind of get everyone on board at a minimum level. Like, for example, in today's world, it is very, very important that you know how to use technical skills or use the computer. But he's dabbled with something which is the minimum basic of knowing how to use Word, Excel, Word, or PowerPoint to enable the students to be successful at their work. And through this peer teaching, he's been able to get the slightly better ones to help the lower ones. So peer teaching, I think, is a wonderful thing that he's employed because it works very, very successfully. Of course, there are other skills like Photoshop, again, employing the relationships that students share with each other to get the knowledge across. Really interesting because, sometimes we just get stuck on being the ones who have to deliver. But I think in today's scenario, it's setup of knowledge sharing rather than just, enlightening our students. So in fact, he's probably employed what happens across organizations as well, to get everybody on the same page, where maybe the HR trains the weaker ones to be able to use the systems. So in this way, he's been able to, get students to use, in fact, what we call project-based learning to the best of their abilities, and allow, students to hone skills which would eventually stand them in good stead later on. And of course, because it's their own peers, they kind of do engage because it's someone at their own level. Moving on, of course, he's also dabbled with volunteering and, helping people to get on board and conduct sessions for those learners who were not so adept. Probably volunteer work allows people who are excellent at a particular skill to share, their expertise with children, with grown-up adults, to be able to understand what is happening around. And of course, it helps to build up a camaraderie between the people, and of course, getting successful people to come and share their experiences. Again, leading to a self-development in each child, to try for higher, terrains where they can add on a skill which would hold them in good stead. So I feel this is really, really a wonderful strategy that he's employed, and has shown that, you don't really need to be so successful at a certain thing to get your students to excel. It's just how you manage your students and how you get them on board. Of course, it also speaks of how he's been able to create a relationship with the students, that they volunteer to come and help him and the needy students or, grown-ups to learn a new skill. So, of course, a commendable expertise, I must say, sir, that you've tried to use techniques which would help students who do not have all the facilities at their disposal, yet be able to succeed because they got help from a volunteer or from their peers. So I think this is a wonderful thing to share. In fact, I think many of us do know about this, but somehow we just get tied down with everything. So a wonderful experience shared, sir, and we are very, very happy that you've just asked us to relearn what we knew and revisit things that we already knew. So thank you so much for the contribution, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.